Good morning. Look at the devastation in this retail sector. My goodness. You can imagine possibly the government calling Amazon a monopoly and trying to break it up. Who knows? I mean, down $37 from here, Foot Locker. I mean, honestly, I buy my sneakers from Amazon. But it is what it is, as we say, you know. Anyway, where are the markets going here? The S&Ps, that was a nasty day yesterday. I mean, this market is full of tricks, so to speak. We talked about, the breakout failure here, the shock. There are internals here. On the 24th, gave a sell signal. There was a lot of chopping around. It looked like it was going higher, and then the shock. And the crack, and it came all the way back up. Where we got short up here into resistance. It was kind of like one of those trades. Didn't have everything lined up, meaning a retracement of a wide range bar like this does show strength, but it was into a decent amount of resistance. And sometimes you just put on the trade just based on, well, the probabilities are always the case, but they don't have to be totally aligned. There was enough here, and just happened to work out. I don't know about luck, but it worked out well, where they're just selling kind of fed on itself yesterday. So what now? Well, you got the major support area down here, and it came a long way to get close to it, and it's hanging here. And I'm thinking that today is going to be a more of a quiet day. That being said, we go through the same analysis like we have, whereas I see a wide range bar, and ideally I want to see that any consolidation stays in the lower half, ideally in the lower third. Clearly that did not happen on the last break. As it began to consolidate, which you can see it's doing down here, and that's this little green bar, that's what it's doing down here. That little consolidation resulted in a retracement back into the void. If you're just listening to this possibly for the first time, one of the things that I've spoken about a lot is this concept of a void that, I've been teaching for 25 plus years or so. And it was a light bulb moment. So why do prices trend at times, move fast at times versus choppy at times? And the void just means that there's no price, in this case, resistance, because of the momentum move. So a big wide range bar like this one creates a void. There's no resistance to trade off of. So what happens here, what we want to see, what price is staying in the lower third or so, is that it begins to create a new area, what should be resistance, and then the next leg down. And this is what we call a 1, 2, 3 continuation pattern, meaning wide range bar, a consolidation day, and then a continuation. Now it could have another day where it consolidates and then drops, but as long as prices stay down here and consolidates, it's creating that resistance, and then that's a situation where we look to sell breakdowns. Now, here's the rub with that. The major support isn't that far away. If you're an intraday trader, not a problem. As a swing trader, it's not an ideal scenario, whereas, maybe a shorter wide range bar here, and then an inside bar and major supports here, that's a good setup. In other words, you don't have a void here, much of a void. You've got this major support. So what to do? Well, from a swing trading perspective, looking at this chart, let's just leave it alone, see if it comes down here, chops around whatever pattern might happen, and then if the weakness continues, it opens up the door down to the next level, because another void. And we continue this systematic analysis of support, resistance, the creation of such, and we update that through looking how far prices retrace, what kind of candle patterns form, what is the volume telling us, and so on. And we put together a systematic way of doing the analysis the same way every single time, and we do it without diagonal trend lines, without Fibonacci lines, without waves, and squares of 9 and all of this esoteric type of analyses that just confuse the majority. And there's always waves and different fib lines. And if you get anything out of these videos, get away from that type of stuff and just look to the left and see where there's support, where's there's resistance, what is the trend, multiple time frames, and so on. All right, let's see where the NASDAQ is here. All right, so it's above the prior low. A little bit of relative strength there. Kind of a wide, whippy type of correction going on here. And a little double bottom here. It's trying to move up. We'll see if it stays in the lower part of the wide range bar. And today, typically this type of move, big down day, is followed by a slower day. More of a consolidation, and then we see where it goes from there. The Dow, which was showing strength, while the rest of the markets were going sideways, had moved up. It had the pullback to the rising 20. If you looked at this in intraday, you'd see there was a little support there. But the 20 is a commonly followed moving average, and that's why I use it, and then the 50 and the 200. So here we could have just the same pattern of a narrow range day, and then we see if this follow through to the downside. So unless something I see begins to change intraday here, I think it's one of those days that just best leave things alone until next week. But we'll see how it unfolds. Transports continues its weakness. This is never a good sign for the broader markets. You see the Dow rallying up and the transports just getting smashed. They held at 200. They held here and had the big rally. Now you had the retest, and now it's right back down again. So wide and whippy suggests it's going to go lower, but odds are it holds this level down here. As buyers step up here and sellers usually step back at an area of resistance to just wait and see what's going to happen. Russell went through the 200, so the correction continues, but it's down into the next area of support. And it's another reason, unless things just start to fall apart again, better to just, I think, stay away today. That's my thinking, but we'll see how things unfold after the first half hour in the morning. And I also want to look at oil. Gold. Gold breaking out. We have a position in AEM and an options position, a condor. This is starting to break out. It's getting very interesting, but it came from support up to the resistance area here, and it's got room to run. But I am going to let this go for today and see how what it does next week. Because a lot of times you get a peekaboo above the resistance and it comes back in again. So I'll just let it, do whatever it's going to do here and look to do something with it next week. And oil. Down to the 50, into this resistance. So oil's been chopping around, showing a little strength, and we covered yesterday the fact that, energy stocks are just getting killed. And it's, going with the trend, obviously, is, higher odds. And here we had a trend break, and it just fell apart again. And that, it happens. You get trend breaks, and things were looking, hey, this is buyable on a pullback, and it failed. So you have setups, you have, real trend changes, meaning it cleared this major support area and came up to the next one, and it couldn't get through. This is not a trend change unless it takes out major resistance. Major resistance is the high prior to the lower low. So in other words, if you have, let's see if I can show this to you. Something like this, and not drawing it right, just say like this was up here, and it takes out the trend line. That's meaningless because it didn't take out the major resistance area. And that's why trend lines are subjective and unnecessary. If you track major resistance in a downtrend and prices trade above it, it's always going to break the trend line every time. So we do our analysis to the left. All right, guys, we got these retailers getting beat up. However, Ross stores, we can get that to update here. That's having a nice move here, up and around $59. So maybe we got a low there in Ross stores. So a little bit of encouragement there from that sector. And Gap stores really sloppy, but showing a little bit of strength today. So we shall see how things shape up here today, and we'll update next week. Have a great trading day and a great weekend.